Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at the OG of filming locations because guess what? We have a very interesting sedan here. This is a 2023 Genesis G80, but don't be fooled. This is actually all new. This is the G80 Electrified. But before we get into this luxury sedan that now has electrification, let's talk about what's going on here. Genesis. They've been doing the business ever since Hyundai, yes, Hyundai created the Genesis sedan. Eventually, in 2015, Hyundai would spin off their premium brand known as Genesis. Now, the lineup has been growing actually very quickly over the past couple years. We got the GV80 and the GV70, their very first luxury SUVs. They've been going through their sedans, and they have an all-new GV60. So that's going to be your two electrified vehicles. The GV60 is going to be an electrified crossover SUV, and the G80 Electrified is going to cover your sedan. Now, what does this vehicle go up against? Obviously, the most common answer people would say would be the Tesla Model S. But don't forget, there's a couple newcomers, the Lucid Air, and of course, the Mercedes Benz EQS. But what I want to find out is the Genesis G80 in that electrified form, is this the way to go? Has Genesis done that magic with undercutting the competition at the price point level? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this 2023 G80 Electrified and find out. Right off the bat, it's fascinating. It looks like a G80. And that's a good thing because when they did the redesign, they really worked well on the body style. Starting at the front of the business, you're gonna get that unique Genesis headlight design. Very, very nicely done with a contemporary touch, all LED lighting, LED daytime running lamp, LED turn signals, and I love the split level, very unique to the Genesis brand. Now, as we kind of drop down, you're gonna see some touches that are specific to the electrified version, because remember, to get some range out of these things, we gotta have it cut through the air like a hot knife through butter. So you're gonna notice how they have these very large corner air intakes. So that's gonna channel the air around the front and down the side of the vehicle. I like the way it extends out. We got some shiny chrome, because this is a premium luxury sedan, we got some shiny chrome along the bottom. And then as we coast across the front grille, you could see the width of this G80. This is one of those things that with grills getting larger on some vehicles, people have been turned off by that style. I really feel like the large grill style area, not only on the internal combustion engine version, but on this electrified, really fits it well. What's fascinating is that I actually think the front of the vehicle looks better in the electrified form. You'll see this aluminum, almost like a brushed aluminum surface area, forward-facing camera. Look at how they hid that camera perfectly in that front grille area. There is going to be some functionality to the bottom portion where it comes to the point, and of course along the bottom as well, because we do have a liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery pack. Now, as we kind of swing over to the side here, I want to show you where the charge port door is. They hit it perfectly. You're actually going to hit this button that has that little charge design. Hit that, open it up. That's where you're going to charge your Genesis G80. Very, very smart to have it up front. So when you pull into that parking spot, when you pull it into your garage, it's right at the front end of the business instead of having to search around. Now, as we get up onto the low slung hood, I can't wait to show you what is underneath. But we got that Genesis badge, a little bit of Aston Martin, a little bit of Bentley, but guess what? Genesis really making a name for themselves. It has that same dip design that goes all the way towards the windshield. Nice flow from front to back. And then as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So these wheels are specific to the actual electrified version. They're a 19-inch wheel. You can see the multi-spoke design, a bit of a metallic gray with a brushed aluminum. I understand why they had to change the wheel to generate better airflow. It's a little bland, especially when you look at the style of this G80 and the particular color. But I do like the way you got the Genesis badge in the center there. We got massive 6-piston calipers, regen braking, and one pedal operation. Those are the features that people want to see on their electrified sedans. Now, another thing you're probably wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this tire? You're looking at 245 on the width, 45 series sidewall, and the G80 Electrified comes one way and one way only, 2 motors. So we have a motor up front and we have a motor out back. That's of course going to give us all-wheel drive. But when you compare this to, say, the Mercedes Benz EQS, I think that has a little bit more of a futuristic look to it. And it's going to be depending on what you want. Do you want something that looks more contemporary and more like a traditional car, or do you want something that has a futuristic flow to it? Now, as we come down the side, I love the way Genesis does their external lighting on the side marker lights. You can see the LED, the chrome, and a little bit of body indentation. As we kind of drop back, this is that almost full-size sedan. It's a mid-size, almost full-size, because remember, they got one bigger. They got the G90. Color matched on the mirror caps. You do get 360-degree cameras, which are great, and you'll notice that emerald green color, metallic finish, sparkles just like a pure emerald that we mined from the deep valleys of Florida. Lots of valleys in Florida. They actually call them the Everglades. But the side of the vehicle has that nice flow. We got chrome on the door handles, a little bit of chrome trim just along the bottom, shiny bright metalwork top and bottom around the window openings. The one major zonk is going to be there's no sunroof. There's not a standard sunroof and there's no panoramic sunroof. I'm a little confused by that. So put in the comment section how you feel about this thing not having a sunroof. Working your way towards the rear. I love the way that they do the rear fender. It's almost got like a flared out style coming off the rear passenger door. Nice crisp body lines, almost like a brand new crisp $100 bill. And then just like we started out front, we have, of course, that split level of taillights. LED, nicely done. I love the way all the ornamental design on the actual lenses on the interior. We got a little bit of chrome across the trunk lid. They hide the button for the trunk very smartly in that badge. And then dropping our way down, you'll notice the width at the back of the vehicle, Genesis badge G80. Let me know what you think. Are you glad that they didn't put an electrified badge or some kind of badge saying that this is an electrified version? Or do you like to keep people guessing and just say, hey, this is a G80? The other big way to tell that this is the electric version is obviously how clean they did the bottom portion with no exhaust. Look at where they hid the reverse lights for your LED lighting. Nicely set up, but you know what? It's about that time. Let's pop the hood and figure out what the heck is powering this G80. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts, just like your other G80s. And now we're gonna talk about what the heck is underneath the hood and this engine cover. First of all, I always like to point out the extra bracing that Genesis did to stiffen up the front end. We do have the adaptive suspension, all 4 corners, and then you're gonna get an engine cover very similar to your internal combustion engine version of this car. But what are we looking at? We're looking at 2 electric motors, one up front, one out back, 365 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. It utilizes a lithium-ion battery pack that's actually in the floor pan of the vehicle. It's an 87.2 kilowatt per hour battery. Here comes the fun news. 0 to 60 in about 4.8 seconds. Quarter mile is gonna zoom by at 13.4 seconds. Top speed is governed to 150 miles per hour. Range is 282 miles on a single charge. What does that equate to? It's 100 mpges in the city, and on the highway, 85 mpges. The vehicle weighs 5,050 pounds. So very interesting to see Genesis not create a whole new vehicle for their lineup, but to take their most popular midsize, the G80, and put that battery pack in there. But why don't we go ahead, let's see how this thing accelerates. Let's go turn it on. All right, guys, we're inside this emerald green 2023 Genesis G80 Electrified. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I am so glad that other manufacturers are starting to make some electrified sedans. I don't want a Tesla. Everybody in my whole neighborhood has a Tesla. I feel like I'm surrounded by the fanboys. I'm liking the G80. I always liked the G80, but now I like it even more because it's electrified. How much is this? So MSRP, the way that this is optioned, and guess what? It basically comes as you see it with the 2 electric motors. There's no one motor option. You're looking at an MSRP of $75,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Very interesting, unique style and material. So you're actually going to have a light green interior to match the exterior. There's that granite, kind of faux granite style to the trim. You got the silver on the tweeter speaker, two-tone with that off-white, and then I like the way they did the speaker grill in the center there. That's that Lexicon premium sound system. Door pocket is a pretty decent size. Probably get one Jimmy John's sub, go turkey and avocado, and you could actually get a little bit of extra onion on that. Going from the door panel to the dash, same story. That green color is throughout. White contrast stitching, all soft touch with that granite style finish. Looks different, looks very stylish. Check that out. What do we got? 14.5 inches of visual pleasure. That's that horizontal setup. Obviously navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Is it a touchscreen? Yes, it is a touchscreen. If you don't want to touch the screen, I'll also show you other ways to operate it in just 1 second. Now you got those easy to swipe features. What is unique about the electrified version? Of course, the EV option. This shows you how much battery life that you have, what's your range, how you're using it, the whole 9 yards. Let me show you a backup camera because we got some clear resolution with 360. You're gonna get a pedestrian chime. There's our G80. It would have been nice if it was green instead of, it looks like a black G80. So I'll have to see once some light shines on that. But go right back into park and then we're right back where we started. Working our way down, you got your on button. I know it says start stop, but it should say just on because there is no engine. We got the motors. You got your dual climate control with the TFT display. 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats, heated steering wheel, and then check it out. Open up door number 1, wireless charging, 2 USB A's, slide it back. We got, of course, our 2 cup holders. Open up that door. There you go. Put your 2 bottles of Yoo-Hoo in there. And then here is the other way to operate your infotainment system. This is like a BMW iDrive control knob. We got some physical knobs and buttons. You got this beautifully done, sculpted crystal gear selector for what direction you're going to go in with your direct drive transmission. We do have different drive modes. I'll show you more of that when you come to the business side of things. And then you have your key fob. So you got your Genesis key fob, nice style. You actually have that smart parking assist where you can move the vehicle in and out of the spot, remote start, and then you have soft material on that creamy white finish. Open it up, bombs away. What do we got? We got a 12 volt. You got a little bit of a tray. This is where you're going to want to keep your emeralds that you've been collecting ever since you were a little kid when you would go and wish that you were Dorothy and went to the Wizard of Oz. You go to the Emerald Green Palace. You can keep those emeralds in there. And then you could probably fit, I would say, a size 4 ruby red slippers, a pair in this center console. That gives you an idea of why Dorothy would want to go to Oz in this G80. Close it up, seats. I hope you like leather. Love the soft material, the piping, very ornamental design with the way they did the center section, fully perforated, nice bolstering, and then you'll notice that on the bottom side of the things that we do have full electric assist for the passenger. Of course, I have full electric assist for the driver as well. And another nice touch that I like in this vehicle is that you got the chauffeur setting. So I could actually move the seat right from the driver's side, or the rear seat passengers can move the seat. The biggest question that has me scratching my head is, where's the sunroof? That to me is definitely a zonk, but they do this green headliner. This is probably the only car in the auto industry right now that has a green headliner, and of course it's that super soft Alcantara style material. But why don't you come over here? I want to show you behind the 3D dash in this G80. Put on your 3D glasses and get on over here. Let's check it out. All right, guys, let's get plugged in on the business end. You do have 2 memory seat settings, which are nice for the driver's seat, and they do give you an aluminum sill plate. I am going to give it a half a zonk, and let me explain. It's nice that it's an aluminum plate and it says Genesis. I just would like to see a little bit better LED touches, like some LED lighting, maybe have the Genesis name greet you at night, all illuminated. One thing that they definitely got, totally hit the nail on the head, are the seat controls. Massage seats, and basically you could fit and contort any body into the seat because you can move these 20 different ways from Sunday. So I like the way they got the seat controls. I'm 6 feet tall. I still got plenty of room in here, which is wonderful. Lots of headroom. I feel good. How about the steering wheel? Once upon a time, I didn't like these steering wheels. They're growing on me. So what you have is that dark gray on the outside. I'm glad that they did a dark gray finish. You got the creamy center. It's almost like a Cadbury egg. You got the chocolate on the outside and that creamy center. Silver on all the touches, flat white on the actual switch gear. You do have paddles, which are interesting, but this is for your regen and to turn on your one pedal braking operation. You do have an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then the biggest piece of technology is that 3D dash. Check it out. You got your full instrumentation, your power gauge, charge gauge, range, your lane keep assist. I love it when you go into the different modes: sport, eco, comfort, nice graphics, super clear, and we got the coveted corner cameras for those blind spots, great technology, and a head-up display. So they definitely got you covered with all the good technology here. I just want a little bit of extra lighting, that's all. Not asking for too much, but supposedly, we're gonna get in that back seat, supposedly with the battery pack, that kind of shrinks passenger volume down a little bit. Let's get back there and see how your passengers are gonna feel that you went electrified with your G80. All right, guys, we're in the back seat, and obviously, this having a lithium-ion battery pack in the floor pan, things are a little different. You'll notice probably the biggest difference where I feel uncomfortable are how high my knees are. I basically need to go like this and shove my feet underneath the driver's seat to feel a little bit more comfortable. The good news is I actually left the driver's seat in almost the furthest back position. So if your driver's not as tall as I am, you could move this seat up and maybe extend your legs a little bit longer. Backs of the seat, you have the soft leather, good sized pocket. You could easily put, I would say, a picture of Elon Musk, Thomas Edison, and Nikola Tesla. Put a picture of each of them in those pockets. You do have a nice little command center with your own AC vents with the soft leather, and we have the AC controls that you could adjust, including the temperature. I got my own pocket over here. I'm gonna put the book about the history of electricity. That's what I'm gonna read up on once I'm done filming. Seats are nice and soft and comfortable, just like the front seats. You're probably wondering, well, Joe, what about USBs? What about other kinds of storage? Well, watch this. That's actually the noise it makes. You open it up, you got your 2 cup holders, you got your power button for the shade, that you hit that and the rear glass shade goes up and down, and then nice soft leather. Open up this door, what do we got? You got enough room, I would say, for 8 Twinkies. Don't go for 9 because you're gonna bust cream all over this beautiful interior. 2 USB-A's. It's interesting that there's no USB-C's. Whereas the Mercedes Benz EQS has USB-C's, this has USB-A's. And what's great is that if you have your gnome that lives in your trunk to feed you snacks, you can keep your gnome in there, because look, there's a little nice pass-through to get those bags of Doritos, maybe some Cheetos, Tostitos. you're just sticking with the O's. But the good news is, even though my legs feel a little weird, I do have plenty of headroom, which is nice. But let's go ahead, let's get into the trunk, because supposedly there's less room back there. We're gonna find out in our G80. All right, guys, time to get in the trunk. This is one other area where, because you're going electrification, you are losing a little bit of space. Now, what are you gonna get? You're still gonna get a nice wide opening and a low cargo floor, but you'll see there's literally a hump. And you do have the pass-through, but there's a hump where that electric motor resides underneath all the carpet. On each side, you do have cargo nets, and the nice thing is they give you the whole book series of Genesis. The music band, you could read about all their hits, how Phil Collins joined the band, left the band, and then decided just to quit the band altogether. Underneath the cargo floor, you have a nice little area for some of those long trip snacks, especially if you don't charge and you get stuck on the side of the road. You could keep some food back here so you don't have to starve to death or turn to some kind of weird form of cannibalism. It is an electric opening and closing trunk, which kind of makes sense because of this being an electrified vehicle. But you know what? Let's go ahead. If you're ready, I'm definitely ready. We got the keys. I got it charged. Let's go on throttle in the new G80 Electrified. All right, guys, we're in this 2022 Genesis G80 Electrified. Are you ready? On throttle. Look at this. I tell you, the amount of torque coming from those electric motors, it's the same amount of torque as a Mercedes Benz S580 with its twin turbo V8. Watch this. On throttle. I got the one pedal brake operation going on where you get off throttle and it applies the brakes. You got that regen braking. If you don't want to do one pedal, it's easy to turn on and off. And I really think that this G80 in electrified form really showcases the high level of fit and finish in this Genesis sedan. It's whisper quiet in here, no creaks, no rattles. It's really a serene experience being behind the wheel. The more I drive it, the more the interior color choices are growing on me. And I'm telling you, wait until you're in traffic or you're in a downhill, a very steep downhill situation. The one pedal operation is a champ. But this thing, I'm telling you, the torque, the way it handles, I like the way in sport mode the steering has a little bit heavier feel to it. And then visibility is great in here, just like your internal combustion engine version. 3D gauges, which are the same like on a Mercedes Benz S-Class. Clear head-up display. Just super smooth with everything. Nice large infotainment system. Let's see how we handle on throttle. Look at this. I'm telling you, that's probably obviously the most fun that you're gonna get in an EV is that instant torque. And with over 500 pounds of torque, this thing is just, it really accelerates fast, especially for the size of vehicle that it is. Seats are on the firmer side, but definitely comfortable. You do have the massage qualities to them. But let's go from a dead stop here. Nobody's behind us. Are you ready? On throttle. Here we go. This right-hand bend. Nice. Gets the power down with that all-wheel drive, and we are off and running. They did a great job with the suspension, especially with the amount of compression and rebound damping that they put into it. In the sport mode, you're definitely feeling that overall experience of being able to toss this G80 around like it's nothing. And it makes sense because remember, that battery's in the floor pan, lowers the center of gravity. This is gonna out-handle your other G80s out there. All right, guys, pulling away from this light, super smooth. I'm telling you, It's crazy how quick this thing is. And then the gauges, your power gauge, your charge gauge, it's easy to understand. And then what's nice is you could go into your infotainment system and pull up that EV power, let you know what your range is and everything else. It just allows you to have that information so that you're not all paranoid. But plenty of room. You're losing a little bit in the back and in the trunk, but I really think that this is a smart direction for Genesis to go in, just because the G80 is already a great sedan. It really, really is. Looks good, feels good on the interior. But here we go. Let's get it out on the highway and see how this electrifying experience in the G80 really is. But here we are, traveling around 55, 60 miles an hour. Super smooth. I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous how good this Genesis drives. You got those great working corner cameras. And it's just one of those vehicles, you know, comparing it to the Mercedes Benz EQS, comparing it to the Lucid Air. If you don't need that name recognition of a Tesla, this is definitely bringing a ton for the money, and it does it in a really well thought out way and a great look. I mean, it's crazy how the EV version of this, I think, looks better than your internal combustion engine version. But going down the highway, even in sport mode, it's not too firm. It's really controllable, super smooth. And you definitely feel like you spent a lot more money on this vehicle than what the MSRP is. That's for sure. On throttle. It does put a smile on your face with how these things accelerate. It really does. I will never get bored of that. I don't know how it would feel in the long run if you owned one. You probably get more used to it. That's just the way it works. But definitely driving it for the week has been a joy. I like the way you don't have to deal with sounds or anything. It's just nice, quiet, a little bit of hum from the electric motors. Here we go. But you get up to speed very nicely. And you're doing it in a wonderful environment. I mean, this leather, this Nappa leather is so soft and smooth. Soaks up the bumps great. Allows you to merge very easily. It's really interesting what Genesis is doing to the rest of the auto industry for sure. But hopefully this has been a nice overall view of what this electrified version of the G80 is bringing to the table. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one of those electrifying kind of days with this Genesis G80 Electrified. I definitely want to thank everybody over at Genesis USA for allowing Radies Rides access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Has Genesis gone the right route? Taking the G80, not doing a lot to change up the exterior too much, but to bring that pure EV propulsion? Or are you gonna take your money and spend a little bit more of it and go Mercedes Benz EQS or the Lucid Air? Let me know in that comment section. But until we meet another day with another electrified vehicle, if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rides family. We got to give it up. He's out here sweating in the heat. He's got his Thunderbolts on. More of that to come very soon. Thank you, Steven, for your hard work. Show Steven some love in that comment section. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.